From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Friday's edition of For the People. It's August the 18th, 2017, and we have an end-of-the-week Friday show just for you with lots of thoughtfulness, and all mixed with the ingredient called common sense, which I know is such a rarity in this day and age that we live, but I try to bring it to you daily, and we do this listener-supported, and it's just something that it's really hard to find today. I've had a lady say, Keith, can we just have an intelligent, thoughtful conversation? The unfortunate thing is a lot of it's just thoughtless elsewhere. A lot of people are just full of hot air, full of themselves. Somebody's saying we got to push this or push that, and that's not the way to do a radio show by any means. So we definitely put a lot of thought and heart into our broadcast. So if this sounds like something that you'd like to listen to and you're enjoying it, digging it, resonates with you, share it with a friend. Why don't you do that? Cool. And you can do that through any social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You name it, and then at forthepeopleshow.com if you're new to our broadcast. You know, they say average listening time. This is like a radio research thing, and I've known this for many, many years for advertisers, the people that advertise, and I thought this is kind of interesting. But average listening time in the car is 15 minutes. So you have to kind of reestablish, say who you are, say what you're talking about, because people tune in, tune out, tune in, tune out. Now, if you listen to the podcast, usually, you can pause it, go do what you come back, and that's kind of a beautiful thing. But the radio station average 15 minutes, so we always have to remember these particular things, the website and all this other stuff. But you can find us, and I got a really nice Facebook message talking about Facebook. Somebody was searching out for Chuck Harder, and she said, I really loved listening to Chuck. And she says, I've been looking for him, and then I found that he's in a nursing home, and I'm sorry. Isn't it sad that Chuck is in a nursing home? It is sad. There's just no doubt about it. But that's what the whole campaign is for the iPad. We got the check-in, baby. We had a nice listener, longtime listener, longtime fan, put in $450, folks. That's what we were shy. He wrote the whole thing. That touches me, and we'll be able to buy that iPad, present it to Chuck very shortly, and we'll do a Facebook Live, him opening it, and of course I'm going to take time to show him how to, set it up and all that, and work with it so he can actually be productive on it. But yeah, he's bedridden. He's in a nursing home, and thank you for the kind email. Many of our listeners were very fond of Chuck, and we're not trying to be like Chuck, though we're trying to really just bring it forward for the next generation. And to my surprise, is the generation before me is listening still. That's why we kept the same jingle music, the bumper music, kind of the same pacing, if you will. And Chuck always made things easy to understand. Chuck spoke from the heart and also had a magnificent brain. That's the one thing I wish I had. I had to work a little bit harder. Chuck, he memorized everything. He was like a walking encyclopedia. It's just crazy. People like that. Maybe you're like that, but Chuck was just one of a kind. Very, very special. Again, thanks so much for your email, and I hope you enjoy and give our show a shot. We'd really appreciate that. Something in the headlines, and something that has been boiling, and we've been talking about it for for several months now, and that is of the left. Democrats are facing a new backlash. And who is it from? Well, it's from pro-choice and liberal groups. And this is after a party leader declared no litmus test to pro-life for 2018 House candidates. Now, the internal conflict got started this spring, but exploded in, say, late July when Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee leader Representative Ben Ray Lujan said that they will not withhold financial support from anti-abortion candidates. The New Mexican lawmaker's comments sparked an immediate backlash from liberal supporters. They continue this week. So Cecil Richards, who runs Planned Parenthood and its political action committees, called Lujan's statements shocking. The abortion divide creates new complications as Democrats try to raise money for their ambitious plan to retake the House and perhaps the Senate. Good luck. Richards told Politico in an interview published this past Tuesday that he has no idea whether Lujan's comments were part of Democrats' attempts at a broader appeal. He says it's shocking sort of misunderstanding of actually where the country is, which is overwhelmingly supportive of abortion rights, she said. I think he's totally wrong. I'll use every opportunity to convince him of that. Planned Parenthood and its PAC have considerable financial clout, as most of you know, and federal records show that they conceivably gave nearly $1.4 million to candidates in the 2016 election cycle. Though Richards told Politico and Planned Parenthood is nonpartisan, and more than 99% of the money last cycle went to Democrat candidates. Well, that's kind of interesting. Her comments followed NARAL's Pro-Choice America, Emily's List, and several other progressive groups, ensuing a statement of principle 2 days later after Lujan's statement of DCCC position. Yes, the abortion conversation, because there's Dems that, like conservatives, oh my goodness, what a notion. I believe that money, taxpayer money, should not be funding Planned Parenthood. This is people that actually have those particular values, and it's against their religion to allow it to happen and their greater conscience. So there's infighting amongst many on the left, not very, very happy about this. And Democrats will fail to retake power in 2018 if they continue on with this nonsense. There's differing of opinion and obviously different ideas in our country. There's a real stubborn divide on full display in California when Democrat lawmakers split on a plan to create a universal health care system for residents. Where the money goes, how it's spent, it's important to us Americans increasingly. And to me, personally, I'm right on board with the good Democrats to say we shouldn't be spending that money on abortions. I'm sorry, it could be spent other places. If it's basically to hand out birth control, I'd be all for it, but there's just so much more to Planned Parenthood. Planned, it just, to me, it's such a crazy word to use that they're planning you to be a parent when they're actually talking 99% of people out of having a baby to begin with. And it should never be funded by tax dollars. Ever. That's just my opinion. And there's Dems that believe that, and so it should be very interesting. There shouldn't be any litmus test for candidates, because if they believe in they're Catholics or they're Protestants or they're another religion, whatever it is, they just are against it. Shouldn't they have the right? I think so. It's America, isn't it? It should be. Well, anyways, not a surprise. But again, the Dems are in turmoil for all different places. And between the right and the left, the alt-left, let's just call it that, that's just so hell-bent on keeping these torture camps alive, where women have these babies alive, and we've seen the videos this past week. That's what you want to stand for. I want to stand for life. I really do. And these abortion camps are not life-giving. They take life, and I can't support something like that. So everybody knows where I stand on this subject, and I know it infuriates a few that write in and say, gosh, I totally disagree with you, but at least you know where I'm coming from. There are researchers, and I am very, very happy about this one. Do you know anybody that has a peanut allergy? I mean, it can kill you. My cousin has a peanut allergy, and he's a young boy. He's about, Jensen, I think he's about 3 or 4 years old now. Yeah, but 3 years old. There we go. I should know this. There we go. The Australians think that they might have a plan, a study that might actually have a cure for the peanut allergy. And so let me share it with you. A new study, 82% of participants saw their peanut allergies cured within the first 18 months of treatment. And that's why some might think I'm sensationalizing this and setting this thing up. That's why. It's very promising here. 4 years later, they've been studying this for a while. 80% of the participants still showed no signs of an allergy. 70% passed a further test meant to confirm long-term peanut tolerance. This is reported by The Guardian. And that's good news, folks. Now, the research out of Australia's Murdoch Children's Research Institute, when they were doing this study, it involved 48 children, some of whom were given a treatment, and then some who were given a placebo. And the children who still appeared to be cured 4 years later had been eating peanut freely in their diet without having to follow any particular program or peanut intake. Says Meme Tang, the lead researcher there, and Tang and the allergist combined a probiotic with a method known as peanut oral immunology, a high dose of the probiotic drug that's very familiar to peanut allergens, was combined with peanut protein in increasing amounts. And she hopes to have a product to the market within 5 years, according to this report. Within 5 years, hopefully sooner. But she says for the first time, we could have a product on the market that provides meaningful and long-lasting treatment benefits which allow sufferers to eat peanut products without thinking about it as part of a regular diet, says the CEO of a biotech firm working on a treatment doctors will be able to prescribe. Oh, folks, and we get this to the market sooner. Get all the FDA and all the red tape. What this stuff does to kids and to adults, where they open up something or get something served to them, where their airwaves shut down, they can't breathe, and they die. It's a lot more common than you think. Peanut allergens. That's why they don't serve peanuts on most planes. Thank God they actually ask before doing that. And if you don't know anybody that has any of those, then maybe it doesn't do anything for you. And you say, well, geez, I can't eat my nuts on the plane. That's the only inconvenience. But imagine eating one and getting one into your food and it killing you. You have to be just all so careful. And you have to have an EpiPen with you and it has to be administered. You just have to be on guard like 24 hours a day. Just when you think, at the time in our country, what we're going through right now with Charlottesville, and after what we've seen right now, the hatred on the left continues. And the hits keep coming from the left. An assassination request from a Missouri Democrat state senator. That's right, a Democrat state senator in Missouri facing, she could have charges brought against her. I hope the Secret Service visited her. I have several different reports here. I'm talking about Maria Chappell Nadal. And basically what she says is that